Hey y'all, today I want to talk to you about something that I discovered a few months ago and since then have grown really fond of. It's called JamUp Pro XT. Now JamUp's an amp simulator app for your iOS device. That would be your iPhone, your iPad, even an iPod Touch. It features faithful digital recreations of all kinds of great stuff. Amps from Marshall, Vox, Fender, and quite a few others, as well as some classic stomp boxes from MXR, Boss, Arbiter. Just all kinds of great stuff. Let's check it out. And this is JamUp. As you can see, it really couldn't be easier to use. It's split into two sections. The top section is your signal path. If you see that gold line, indicates what's in and what's out of your signal path. And at the bottom, whichever device in the signal path is selected shows up for easy editing. So for instance, say I wanted to give myself a little more treble on this, all I do is touch the knob, move up and down, and you get that. Now to edit another piece of your signal chain, just tap it up here, and boom, you got that. Say I want to bring the tone up some on my tube driver. Now, effects can be turned on and off in a couple of different ways. If you have it selected, just tap the indicator light, it goes off, and if you noticed, it also moved out of the signal chain. You can also just drag items right back down into your signal chain. Okay, now your effects are split into different groupings. Of course, up here, got a noise gate. Double tap it, get a couple different options. Here you got your stop box section. Double tap, and you have all kinds of different stuff. You have a booster, tube compressor, model of the Boss sustain compressor, sustain pedal, an MXR compressor, tube driver, of course, which is a model of the Ibanez tube screamer. Slide along here, OD drive, which I believe is a model of the Boss Super Overdrive SD1 pedal, Dallas Arbiter fuzz face, model of a Rat. It's a model of the Metal Zone pedal, and of course, Sans amp, old standby. Now your modulation group has all kinds of goodies. Got a tremolo pedal, chorus ensemble, flanger, a phaser, which I believe is a model of the old Phase 90. Sounds like it anyway. Vibrato, rotary simulator, Autowah, Crybaby, Univibe, Mutron, I'm not sure what that Tron is, and an octave pedal. Over here, you double tap, you have your EQ, that's pretty much your only filter choice. Delay, you got a few choices. See along here, of course, model of a Boss delay pedal, reverse delay, echo delay, tape delay, and a multi-head tape delay, old school. And then your choices for reverb, a digital reverb Boss pedal, a model off a 63 Fender Spring Verb, or room reverb, which I believe is modeled off of TC Electronics. Not sure, but judging from the look and sound of it, I believe it is. Okay, your amp section is where the real magic happens. There's models of all kinds of great classic and new classic amps in here. Now Positive Grid, the company behind JamUp, makes all kinds of different expansion packs in addition to the amp models you get when you purchase the app. I'll run you through a few of them here. I've got the expansion packs because I'm kind of a junkie. You got a great acoustic simulator here, which actually does work very well. 2 power amp JC120, some different Fender options, AC boost, that would be based off of Vox AC30, plexiglass, Marshall Plexi, of course, Lead 800, JCM 800, JCM 900, and then quite a few others. A lot of time, the graphic will actually indicate to you what the amp is. You know, that's got to be an orange. Tread plate, that's a Boogie, 5153, gee, I wonder. Sliding across here. Now this Diesel 50 is a model of a Laney GH50, an amp that you don't normally see in amp modeling software. I used to own the GH100L, and I gotta tell you, this model sounds pretty darn close. Pretty impressive. That's an amp I wish I still had, but somebody stole it, so I don't have that anymore. And a Fireball, that's from an Angle. And then you also have some bass amp options here if you purchase the bass expansion pack. Another feature of JamUp Pro that a lot of other amp simulators for iOS don't feature is your effects aren't locked in a single position in your signal chain. For instance, if I'm using a phaser most of the time, I like to have that before the amp model. That way the amp model can interact with my phase signal. On the other hand, sometimes if I'm using a chorus, I want it after the amp. When I'm playing live, I like to run the chorus in the effects loop. With JamUp, it's a breeze. Just double tap, select my chorus, and just drag it after the amp, put it in line, and boom. Another killer feature is JamUp's preset section. Tap preset, and you have access to all your stored sounds, and of course places to store your sounds. You have a factory bank, and then you have 3 user banks. Each bank will hold 16 different settings. Just scroll through them, just scroll through them. Of course, 3 user banks, 16 settings each. JamUp also features the Jam player, which basically lets you jam along to your favorite songs. You just tap Jam, then hit load song, grab a song out of your iPod library, and the song starts. You can bring up or down the volume to match your amp simulator. You can also alter the pitch if you're not tuned exactly to where the artist is tuned to. And if you need to work out a tough part, you can always bring down the speed. The Jam player makes JamUp an indispensable practice tool. It's awesome. JamUp also comes with a sampler. Now, to be honest, I've never used this, but from what I can gather, it works basically as a looper. You record, of course, undo your recording, play, and you can even dub multiple parts over it. When you install JamUp on your iOS device, you get a ton of great amp sounds and effects to really craft your sound, but you're not limited. Positive Grid, the makers of JamUp, also make available quite a few expansions. All you do is tap the store button. You can choose amp models, effect models, or bundles. Amp models, as you can see, there's just a ton of them there. Effects models, same deal. Or you can choose bundles. You have your bass expansion pack, boutique, classic expansion pack, effects expansion pack, metal expansion pack, yeah, and the essential expansion pack, which is what you get when you upgrade to JamUp Pro. Alright, now you know how it works, but how's it sound? Check this out. I'm going to run through some of the presets here. These are all factory presets, but you can get an idea of how it sounds. Start with a rectifier. Pretty crunchy. Let's go to a plexi. Okay, let me toss in some delay here. I got a phaser. I'm going to move that before the amp. Bring the speed down. See if we can get that sound. Killer. Here you got kind of a country setting. Here you got one they call Johnny Clean. Here's got a JCM 800 with a model of the Boss SD1 in front of it and a chorus, kind of like Zakk Wylde. Sorta. They call this one death metal, again based off of, I believe, a Boogie rectifier. Not exactly death metal, but still pretty badass. Here's one of my settings based on old Marshall Plexi with a tube screamer in front of it. And the last feature I'm going to show you guys today is the share feature. That's where you can upload your tones and you can also download some tones from other folks. And when you hit share, it comes up with a featured presets section. You have presets from guys like Jeff Loomis, remember him from Nevermore? Badass. Keith Merrow, Ola Englund, Derek Budemeyer, just some great players and some great tones. And you also have sections here where you could download from other users. I'm going to go ahead and grab one from Jeff, because we all know how much of a badass he is. Let's see what kind of tone we can get here. I'm going to grab Jeff's lead tone. We tap that. Yeah, I like that. So you got a couple options here. You can either store it right to a setting there, or you just hit done, back, done, and you're back into the interface, and then you can see what's going on here. Now what's kind of cool about that is, say I like the sound, but I want to try something for rhythm. Just knock those out, and I got a fairly good rhythm sound. And of course, to kick them back in, and I got Shred Delight. This is the JamUp Plug. It's an input device for your iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch that the company also sells. Features 1/4-inch input for your guitar as well as mini plug output for headphones. And it's used, of course, to get your guitar signal into your iOS device. But you're not limited to that. It also works with, I got a list right here, with the Griffin Stomp Box, the Griffin Studio Connect, Apogee Jam, which is what I'm using here, the Alesis IO dock, Line 6's Mobile M, IK Multimedia iRig, Peavy's AmpKit link, and Pocket Labworks iRiff port. So pretty much any input device is going to work with JamUp. JamUp Pro works on iOS devices, on iPhones, all the way back to the iPhone 3GS. It also works on the iPad, all 3 iPods. Not sure about the new ones yet, because I know they have the new connector, so you would need a new kind of input device. And also on the 4th generation iPod Touch. So you got a pretty wide range of compatibility as well. That's JamUp Pro. Some killer guitar sounds right from your iOS device. Good enough sounds you could even use it as a live guitar rig. Just be sure to plug it into something that can handle powerful sound, because this ain't no tone for... Well, you get the picture. JamUp Pro.